Hi, I'm Deborah Scatina. My partner, Candace Martinez, hoped that you like our video of our field project for this assignment in cultural anthropology. The field site that my fellow ethnographer and I chose to observe is a local preschool that for the purposes of this assignment we will call the school. The school is a small private school of about 75 children. The families mostly consist of children from the neighborhood as well as children from International Cal graduates and postdoc students. We observed on the outside play yard where there were two different age groups. We selected a time that is considered this place's rush hour, right when the most parents come and pick up their children. And on the second visit, we arrived about half an hour before the busy time to get a feel for how much the environment changed when the parents and other guardians came onto the school campus. There were many different aspects that made this a very heavy traffic time. Parents, grandparents, and nannies were coming to pick up children. Some children were being ushered to nap time. Some were staying in the yard for rest time. There was a staff shift change happening, as well as the teachers from other classes beginning to bring the remaining children outside. By the time we observed for the second time, we felt that we had a fairly good grasp of the culture at the school. The children seemed to be aware of the teachers' expectations in terms of playground rules and boundaries the teachers set. There seemed to be an understood procedure as to how to make the exchange of authority and responsibility of the children to the parents from the teachers. But we had many questions as well. Was there a difference in the children's behavior before the parents arrived versus when their parents arrived on the premises? Is there a social norm for how children greet their parents? Is there a set of expectations of how to say goodbye to the teachers? Are there greetings and salutations universal across the different subcultures within the preschool culture? Is there a difference in the way fathers greet their children versus the way mothers or nannies greet their children? For these questions, we asked a teacher who has been teaching at the school for about 6 years. She is also a parent of a current enrolled child at the school. Her older two children also attend.
What they are supposed to be is that at 1 o'clock, you should come in and pick your child up and sign them out and leave up the ramp a certain area that has gates so other kids don't follow you. And it should be very sort of quick and in and out. What happens generally is that parents socialize and they want to check in with the teachers or they want to check in with other parents. We encourage parents to pick their kids up and then go outside and make alternate plans. That doesn't always work. So that gets a little chaotic because then we have parents who are here and we sort of feel like they should be watching their kids, but then they're not. So we sort of, are we still on the clock? Should we still be watching them? How does that work? So it does get there's a little bit of a gray area there. I don't know what the answer is to it.
Right.
And we've obviously had kids that then sort of walk out without their parents. They see their parents there. So it does get a little sketchy sometimes. But ideally what it would be is parents would pick up, get their kids, walk outside, and then socialize.
Right. Yeah. Is there a normal way of that the children greet their parents?
No.
Is there a universal way in which they greet their parents?
No, I don't think so. I mean, for me, what I see is there's some children, when they see their parents, that run to their parents with big open arms and big smiles. There's other kids that start crying as soon as they see their parents. There's other kids that run away from their parents and will not let their parents catch them. There's other kids that just completely ignore their parents. They see them and they pretend they don't see them. And sometimes that can change day to day. So I don't really feel like there is. And, she would smile and laugh at me and come running to me and sometimes, and at other times, just completely melts down. So I don't know.
Right.
I don't think, for me, there's no normal way.
Right.
Sometimes for one particular kid, there's a normal way. We have a kid who always runs away from their parents. But in general, all the kids sort of do things differently.
Right. Yeah. And is there a expectation of how you want the children to be?
We've had times where it's been problematic that the kids then run away and then you have to chase after them and the parents don't want to do that. And there's some parents that don't want to step foot in the sandbox, which is interesting. They sort of, it's like their barrier where they won't cross. And so then we've had so, we've had conversations with the kids. Okay, your mother's coming in a few minutes. Let's talk about what that's going to look like, how that's going to go. And, we had to do that. We've had to do that with many kids because it gets to be sometimes very problematic when they're running around. And then you have parents and kids and people running and people crying. And so we've definitely taken kids and tried to just give them set up the expectations of what that's going to look like when their parents come.
Okay.
And sometimes that's been helpful. And sometimes they just, ignore us. But who did we have last year? We had a kid last year who we really had to do this with all the time because they were just, who was it? It was throwing toys.
Oh yeah.
It was one of our friends that would throw toys. Every time he saw, I know who it was, every time he saw his parent, he would throw toys and run away. And it was dangerous, So then we started really, a few minutes before the parents would come, we started saying, parents are going to come, let's stand here, let's talk about what that's going to look like, and, let's see how this works. And it actually was helpful. That was helpful in that instance.
Preparing them.
Yeah.
Is it different? One question I had, is it different? Do you see a difference in the transition time when a father picks up versus a mother, and then also when a nanny picks up versus a parent? And how does that look different?
I do see difference. I wouldn't say there's one standard way that the fathers pick up and one standard way the mothers or the nannies pick up. I will tell you that the kids are different with each parent or with each caregiver. There are very different ways. There's one little boy who, when the mom comes, just runs away and really plays this whole game. And when the dad comes, it's much more, let's go. The dad also uses bribery. So I also hear the dad say, I have something for you in the car. So that gets the kid out, right? I don't know what that is. But so yes, there are different ways that parents can, or different things they'll put up with. And I feel like there's some parents that enjoy sort of hanging out. So if they don't set down those really strong.
What we found through our observations and subsequent interview was that although the children had social interactions with the parent and or nannies picking them up during this active time, there was no universal way in which the children greeted parents. One child ran to their mom, another cried as the mom arrived, and still another continued to play, despite the parent calling his name. What did appear to be universal at the school was a shift in the children's focus on their play as parents began to arrive. The children became more distracted, looking toward the entrance gate to the yard.